is 38.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here on the radio. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You may join us there, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us tonight. It's Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
And of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Coming up here tonight is a portion of Oregon going to secede from Oregon.
Is that really... I mean, joining another state is not exactly the same thing.
Well, it's secession from Oregon in this case, and they want to join Idaho,
yes,
apparently. So we can talk about that on the way here tonight. Plus, the Boy Scouts of America have filed for bankruptcy. We will get into that as well. And I want to start tonight, though, with the news that you knew was coming. So the question was when? When all this smoking ban nonsense started 2 decades ago. Because I remember I think it was actually our second episode, or maybe it was our first episode. Yeah, I think it was actually our first episode. The first episode we ever did of Free Talk Live back in 2002, when we were just a local show in Florida at the time, was about a smoking ban that was proposed on the ballot down there in Florida. It was, to ban smoking from all public businesses. Basically, any business that was open to the public would not be allowed to have smoking.
I remember that ban. I was angry.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
And of course, they voted in favor of it overwhelmingly. It was like 70% voted in favor of that. So, the writing was on the wall at that time. You knew that it was going to get worse because government programs don't just stop where they start. There's an idea that comes out and then it metastasizes. It gets worse. It grows into areas that it never was originally intended to grow into. But if they can ban smoking in a business, then they can ban smoking on a public conveyance. Then they can ban smoking outdoors. They can ban smoking in your car. And now they're going to try to ban smoking inside what you thought was your private home.
Yeah,
that's what's coming next.
And it even went back even further than that. I don't know exactly when they banned it in planes, but
yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah,
it was like at least a decade before then.
Yeah, even before that, and this is regulation wise, not just an airline saying you can't smoke or you can only smoke if you're in the back or something like that.
Yeah, it was an FAA regulation.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's before my recollection too, actually, but I remember this.
There are old movies that show people smoking cigarettes.
I remember.
I smoked on airplanes.
Wow,
I really?
remember smoking.
When did that stop? Was it the late 80s?
Something like that. Well, I know that one big thing that happened under Bush.
The older Bush, the original Bush.
Yeah, I believe so, because the
first Bush.
I think it was about the same time as the first Gulf War. But that may have been international flights because I think they did local flights and then international flights.
I remember it going all the way back to the late 80s, to be honest, smoking being a topic. And I remember asking, why, if it was bad for you, why don't they just ban it? And it was just like an innocent question as a 4-year-old.
Well, I'm actually surprised that hasn't been proposed more often.
Yeah.
Given how eager they are to attack smokers and smoking in general, why aren't the prohibitionists going whole hog on that?
Because they're completely dependent on tobacco taxes.
The government, yeah.
That's true. They raise a lot of money through tobacco taxes, and they're really super high too. I don't know what they are, but New York is insane.
It's state by state. It's different. Some states,
the
tobacco states are the lowest ones. For
let's put it this way: I know all I remember is New York from the 90s, and it would be
it's much worse
insane tax wise.
Now it's even worse. Now New York
they
is
kept upping
by far the worst, and I think it's at least $10 or $13 for a pack of cigarettes there, most of which is made up of taxes.
Wow. Yeah, I was thinking it was $3 in terms of taxes, but like
No, yeah, it's insane. There,
that's even way higher than I.
And guess
thought.
which state this is coming from?
New York?
It's New York.
Yeah, of course.
Now, to be clear, it's not at the state level yet, but they are starting in Suffolk County, which this story here from CBS in New York says that they are hoping to be the most progressive county in the state. If their goal is to progress towards tyranny, of course, then yes, they would be the most progressive.
I think they already won the tyranny.
Suffolk County is proposing a law that would snuff out secondhand smoke in apartment complexes, condominiums, and multifamily dwellings. Haven't they already done this in California and some towns, some cities in California? This sounds familiar to me. I feel like this is maybe not the first time this particular thing has either been proposed. Surely it's been proposed previously in other places, but I almost feel like this may not be the first place where this would exist.
Is New York the worst in terms of freedom, in terms of the 50?
New York is the worst, but California, I believe, is the second worst.
Okay, but there's a huge margin between California and
Last
New
I
York?
looked, there was,
okay.
yeah. So
Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody then.
No.
Home of Trump and Bloomberg. What a coincidence.
Smoking is already banned in many public places near schools and office buildings, but there are no smoke-free laws for apartment buildings, condos, two-family homes. This according to Suffolk legislator he's a doctor, so you should take him seriously. Dr. William Spencer said, quote, "Let me be clear. Any legislation that there is a vote required that would have an impact on preventing the public or innocent people who have made a choice not to smoke from being exposed to smoke, I will support that legislation," he said. He, who is also a medical doctor, said secondhand smoke can permeate through cracks in walls, electrical lines, plumbing, and ventilation systems. Statistics show more than 3,000 non-smokers in New York die each year from heart disease and lung cancer caused by secondhand smoke. Do you believe that?
Well, I mean, he's not wrong that, yes, some tiny level of smoke may be able to come through cracks. You might even, catch a whiff of it every once in a while. But what causes problems is when you're taking massive amounts of it into your lungs every day for years. It's not the same thing.
So this kind of reminds me of how so this is not the only thing that causes like health issues, right? Like every time you print something, if you're working in an office or you print something at home, there are issues with air quality when it comes. That's actually probably worse than smoking. So like I mean,
said when you print things?
Yeah, when you print
like
things
running
with
a laser printer or something?
Yeah, so when you use a laser printer, it contaminates the air, right? But we don't see them, demanding a ban on laser printers. I mean, it's kind of
have deaths been attributed to someone who's been working around too many laser printers?
It has to do with air quality, and I don't necessarily know that they've linked, I haven't seen a statistic where they've specifically linked
any deaths
to laser printers specifically or anything of that nature. But certainly the air quality in terms of how bad it is in a building is linked to the laser printers.
Okay, but I mean that's a whole different story than saying it's going to kill you. You're not saying that.
Well, I mean
just because it's not the best air to breathe doesn't mean you're not going to survive.
Yeah, I mean it's true. There's a lot more. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of years worth of data on smoking. We don't have that on laser printers. They haven't been around that long, especially not to the extent that in people's homes and offices.
I don't know if I buy this claim that more than 3,000 non-smokers die from heart disease and lung cancer caused by secondhand smoke. Well, they can't say that.
Yeah, how can you even know that?
Right.
I would love to know how they made.
All right. If you got heart disease
that conclusion
and your neighbors smoke cigarettes, that doesn't mean that the fact that there might have been a few whiffs of smoke that comes through a ventilation system causing your heart disease. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh God, that fat guy who lives next door to me, a crumb of his sugar fell in my coffee, and now I'm going to be fat.
Yeah. Anybody who's ever smoked, basically, when they die, they consider it statistically that they died from the smoking that caused it.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. If you think that smoking should be banned in condos, apartments, etc., want to hear from you. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary, and does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio is great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to join us in one of those rooms. We will join you there, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And tonight with you, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
Plus, are you 100% sure that you're going to have a great retirement, or do you have some doubt? Tom Young is the author and founder of the CFO Project. He can show you how to be debt-free in 9 years or less, including your mortgage, without spending a single dollar more. With the current state of the federal debt at $23 trillion and the unfunded liabilities at $127 trillion, you can't wait to take control of your money. Don't let your retirement savings be used to bail out the government. Instead of building a plan, Tom can show you how to create strategies now to save money without penalties and as little government involvement as possible. His new book, The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, will show you exactly how to build wealth and eliminate debt at the same time. Get your free copy now at cfo-project.com. Invest in yourself and your family today. Get your free copy of The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, at cfo-project.com. As we continue here, we're talking about the proposal in Suffolk County, New York, where they want to ban secondhand smoke. They want to ban any smoking, basically, in condominiums, apartment complexes, and multifamily dwellings. So that covers a lot of people, right? If you've ever been to New York City, for instance, now I don't know where Suffolk County is in New York. I'm not sure what part of the state that is, but I mean, there's massive apartment buildings that hold probably thousands of individuals. There's going to be a lot of people. The larger the area, the more the population, the more people are going to be affected by a ban like this.
So is New York City part of that county?
Sorry, who? What?
I don't think Suffolk County is that populous. We could look it up, but I mean, there's only one New York City.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Like, is it part of the county? Is New York City part of that county, or is it not?
I don't think that's the New York City part. Oh, it's Long Island. Okay, that is a fairly highly populated place.
It's highly populated, but it's spread out.
I guess. I mean, I've been to Long Island before. There's a lot of people that live there. But either way, they're talking about banning smoking from these people's homes. And the claim is that there are people who've died from secondhand smoke. We called those claims into question in the last segment. You're welcome to join the conversation here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Legislator Sam Gonzalez, there's actually two laws that are proposed to reduce secondhand smoke. He is sponsoring the bill that bans all smoking in apartments, condos, and multifamily homes. When asked if the proposed legislation is going too far, Gonzalez said, quote, "It's not going too far. We're heading in that direction anyway. We can't smoke in restaurants. We can't smoke in buildings. We can't smoke inside theaters. There are parks. There are beaches that you can't smoke in. We are headed there." So there you go. That's exactly what I was talking about before. Yeah. As soon as they take step number 1, it's inevitable that they're going to take steps 2 through 5 and so on.
You know, the problem is it's not that smoking is good for you, and I don't doubt that it's bad for you. I'm sure it's bad for you.
Oh, as a former smoker, I will attest it's bad for you.
The problem is that oftentimes these statistics that they'll pull up are based on things like if you are come down with any kind of you die from anything and you've ever been a smoker, you end up becoming a statistic, even if you worked for 20 years in a factory that does builds cars and you installed asbestos every day. You died from the asbestos not because of the smoking. But that doesn't matter because statistically they just all they care about is whether or not you were a smoker. And if you smoked one time, even though you installed asbestos every day, and it was probably that, not the one time that you smoked, they're still attributing it to it.
They care about what they want to demonize.
Right.
Marijuana must be the gateway drug because most people who do heroin did weed at some point first. Well, get a list of all the things they did in their life before they did heroin.
Right.
There are probably many of them in a great variety.
Right.
Why pick on weed? That must be the cause.
I can guarantee you that every single one of them had a bite of food first that their mom, when they were a child.
They went for a walk.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just because you had something to eat when you were a child before you got to the marijuana does not mean that the food that you ate is what led you to the marijuana.
Driving a car is a gateway to a motorcycle. Yeah. The proposed legislation has Suffolk residents buzzing. One person said, quote, "It's impossible to enforce." I disagree. This is quite possible to enforce, and all it will require is a busybody neighbor to snitch you out. All it's going to require is somebody to call the police and say, "I can smell smoke coming through my wall. I think my neighbor's smoking." And the cops are going to show up, and the cops are going to knock on that person's door. And most people, not knowing their rights, are going to open the door. And then the cops are going to, we smell smoke inside this apartment. We're coming in. And then they're going to arrest you.
It's,
or ticket you.
It's as far as passive, you're probably right as far as like, or as far as passive, enforcement. But as far as active enforcement, I think this person is writing the story, I guess.
What do you mean by active enforcement? Like, are you saying the cops aren't going to go door to door with a dog or something like that?
It seems like it would be an awful lot of energy on the. I mean, I don't know what is this, like a ticket of some kind?
Well, I don't have the law in front of me, but it does say they could be fined up to $1,000 or possibly arrested, and it will be complaint driven. So yeah, they're not going to walk around, searching through apartment buildings to find which doors smell like smoke.
Yet.
But if...
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yet. But if someone calls them, they're going to come out.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
And so that's why I say this isn't impossible to enforce. It's easy to enforce. All you got to have is a busybody neighbor. And there are plenty of those people.
Oh, yeah.
There are plenty of people who have nothing better to do than find things to complain about what their other apartment tenants in the building are doing.
Yeah.
They for whatever reason, maybe they're on welfare, maybe they're retired, they've got plenty of hours in the day, and they're home, and they're bored, and they want to know what you're doing in your apartment, and they're all kinds of interested in it. And this is one of the reasons why I would never want to live in an apartment building. I don't want to be that close to other people. I'm fine with people, like I'm not anti-people. I just don't want them to live that close to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but even when you own a house, you can end up in spats with your neighbor because of busybody neighbors.
They're just the better the distance, the better off you are.
I totally agree with you on this. I'm just thinking of like multiple incidences over the years. Like I once had a neighbor call the cops because of it was a winter and the car got washed and there was soap. And this soap
is here in New Hampshire?
This was in New Jersey.
Okay.
It was like, and the houses were much, much farther apart. It was a neighborhood, but the houses were farther apart than here in Keene, New Hampshire. And, they called the cops because, and the neighbor apparently was like, it might be like some sort of terrorism thing or something. Like, seriously?
What?
Like
suds?
What?
Suds equals terrorism?
Yeah, it's like soapy water that froze. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what neighbors will call the cops on you for.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. I suspect it's worse in New Jersey because, at least in New Hampshire, at least among the natives, there's a kind of live and let live mentality. There's kind of a leave me alone mentality, and people here kind of get that. Now, that's not to say, if they came from outside of New Hampshire that they would get that. They probably wouldn't. 855-450-FREE. Your thoughts on a smoking ban indoors?
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight is Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
Talking about smoking cigarettes or whatever. It's going to be banned if the bureaucrats and legislator types in Suffolk County, New York, which is apparently Long Island or a good chunk of it, that if they get their way, they're going to ban it from inside apartments, condos, and multifamily homes. So if you live in a duplex or a triplex or something like that, apartment building, you're no longer going to be able to smoke. Presuming this thing passes, and given the kind of the history in recent decades of these smoking bans, it seems like they always pass. Very few people are willing to actually come out and stand up for their rights to do what they want with their own property and with their own bodies. Now, of course, the other side is going to argue that, well, if you live in your own home that's separate from other people's homes, this won't affect you. If you're living in a home that is connected to another home in some way, then you could harm that other person in that other home by smoking cigarettes, is what the argument's going to be. And if you want to weigh in here, you're welcome to do so. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. And I want you to know about the AnyPay Ambassador Program, which actually finally allows individuals to earn passive income for helping set up local businesses to accept Bitcoin Cash or Dash at their point of sale. If you've been, interested in seeing cryptocurrency expand and become more useful in real life, AnyPay is now going to incentivize you to help make it happen. So if you can get a local business set up, you can download the AnyPay Cash Register app to your own phone or device and add your crypto wallet addresses so you're all set up. That way they know who to send the money to for the bonuses. But then you install the app at a real-life business and tell them you did it over at anypayinc.com. That's anypayinc.com. Get on their ambassador program, which I think is I'm really grateful for them putting this together. This is a great plan. I'm glad to see that they've done it. They're really the first company, I think, that's ever really offered a decent compensation plan. I think it's currently set at 1%. Now, they can change that in the future. It's not locked in. It just depends on how things go with this, but that's really awesome. And so kudos to them for it. Go check it out. AnyPayInc.com and download the AnyPay Cash Register app and try it out for yourself. As we continue here with the story from CBS Local over at Suffolk County, New York, where they're talking about banning smoking inside apartment complexes, condominiums, and multifamily homes. Offenders could be fined up to $1,000 or even face arrest. The enforcement will be complaint-driven. Again, the CBS News talking to folks who live there in Suffolk County. One person said, quote, "If they want to smoke in their apartment, I think it's totally fine. You should have the discretion, obviously, to smoke on your own property," said another person. So they managed to find some New Yorkers who are actually kind of willing to let their neighbors be and, make their own decisions for themselves. However, when they spoke to the legislator who has proposed this, Sam Gonzalez, he says, quote, "When I get pushback from individuals that say, 'No, you can't stop me from smoking,' I say, 'Why not?'" And that's the attitude. Wow. Yeah, well, he can.
Wow.
He's got a gang. He's got a criminal gang on his side. He's got men with guns who will do his bidding. And he absolutely can stop you from smoking with violence if necessary. If you don't do what he says, his gang will come and put you in handcuffs and then take you and put you into a cage. And it will be harder to get cigarettes in jails. Not impossible, but they're a little more pricey. They have to go through a bit of a more smuggling kind of a process in order to get into jail.
You may have to revert to heroin or something like that.
Well, as long as it can go where the sun don't shine, then it can get in. And there are other ways to get cigarettes in the jail. There's guards that are corrupt and that will take payoffs and smuggle them in for you as well. But there you go. Public hearings will be heard later this month and are expected to be heated. Legislators say they expect amendments and modifications before the Health Committee considers the proposal. So as that develops, we will keep you in the loop.
It kind of, you have to wonder about the constitutionality of this. It kind of reminds me of how the Supreme Court ruled for, I believe it was, I'm trying to think what it's called exactly, but it's basically two guys having sex with each other in their own home.
They ruled on a case about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The U.S. Supreme Court?
Yes, I believe it was relating to Texas, and unless I'm mistaken about which court
was it like a sodomy law or something that they overturned?
I think it was sodomy. And they overturned it based on what you do in your own home is your business.
Yeah, but they're going to argue this isn't just your home. You're connected to other people's homes. And that's true.
I guess.
There's a good chance ventilation systems
are connected. Like a bit of a stretch.
Well, no, it's not really a stretch. I mean, you're connected if you're in an apartment complex.
If they're going to argue that, then it would only be theoretically applicable or should only be applicable to homes in which actually have interconnected systems.
Mm-hmm.
Not every home does.
True.
Some homes have separate systems depending on the apartment or the
we're
dwelling.
in a duplex here.
Right.
And there are separate systems, like the heating systems are separate.
This is exactly my point.
However,
but this law would apply to you.
There's a crack in the wall. So between nobody's bedroom and my bedroom, there's a crack in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's smoking a bunch of cigarettes over there, which he's not supposed to be, 'cause it's against the rules of the complex or whatever, but I would be able to smell it. And sometimes I can smell like if something burns next door, like if they burn some coffee in the coffee maker or whatever, I can smell that over here. So there's definitely scent particles or whatever that are coming through the walls, right?
I mean, and then the other point is that you had the option of renting from somewhere else, a different apartment,
but paying more, right? Because if you're renting from an apartment,
I don't know, maybe you'd be paying less.
Well, usually you're going to pay more for a house, right? Like if you rent your own house that's separated from other
assuming
people.
If this wasn't a law, you would have the option then, right? So you could go to an apartment building and rent from an apartment building where they don't allow smoking.
Well, see, that's the real solution here, right? Is to allow the marketplace to provide places that don't allow smoking, and there must be these places, right? Like I've never looked at
this is already something that exists.
That's what I'm thinking. I've never looked at renting an apartment, but I presume there are smoke-free apartment complexes.
Oh, absolutely.
There must be.
There are. I know there are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Most of them are.
I don't. Right. Like
Really?
I was gonna say. Like I'm gonna say. Like yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is like most of them probably are. Not the other way around.
Yeah. So
it's
what's the
actually
problem
probably
here?
harder to find an apartment building where you can
That allows
smoke
for
than-
smoking.
Right. Not so. And that's just because of the wear and tear on the buildings
Sure.
and the fact that a lot of people don't like to smoke, especially now. We have a disproportionate
Oh, God,
number of people
yeah,
who
if you've-
don't like smoking than smoking. So
Yeah, the wear and tear is awful. I mean, as somebody who's managed properties, yeah, I bought a house in Florida a long time ago that I ended up living in, but it was a smoker who'd lived there before me, and the amount of work that had to be done to sort of de-smokeize the place was just awful and expensive and time-consuming.
Yep.
Everything's yellow. All the blinds and even the what was white paint on the walls. It's just this tar that's just everywhere.
I mean, this seems like a very selfish thing to demand of other people, is what it comes down to.
Of course it is.
Rather than taking steps, taking your own steps to do things that are in your interest.
Well, yeah, that's what a responsible person would do.
Right. You're demanding everybody else comply with your personal wishes.
And it actually means that people to whom it's very important not to be exposed to smoke, they're more likely to be exposed to smoke. And here's my thinking there. If there are smoking complex and non-smoking complexes, most smokers are going to move into the smoking complexes, avoid the non-smoking complexes like the plague. And people who really care about smoke, well, they're going to move into the non-smoking complexes. But if they're all non-smoking, because that's what the law says, then the smokers have to rent wherever they can rent, and they're going to cheat.
Yeah. And this is the thing. A smoker doesn't want to be harassed about their smoking. So they're going to go towards the apartment complexes that allow smoking, and
if they exist. But if this passes, they won't exist.
And they won't exist. In which case, you're basically going to be next to a smoker being affected by this, but they don't have a choice.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want here and take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live. Coming up, the Boy Scouts filing for bankruptcy. What's going to happen? We'll tell you.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At GCNteam.com, we have a healthy blood sugar pack focusing on the structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
to random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us here. You may take control of the airwaves. You don't have to talk about smoking, although that was the topic that we had on the table this hour, but we've got other things to talk about coming up, including the Boy Scouts of America filing for bankruptcy. I guess their whole name change thing didn't work out, enough to save them.
Wait, they changed their name?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about that? That was
No.
last year. They changed their name to I think it was Scouts BSA, because they started allowing girls into the Boy Scouts.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I guess that wasn't enough to save them from bankruptcy. So we can talk about that and more. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, I want to say thank you to Leah H., who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier. That means that Leah is contributing to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It is a simple concept. The idea is you send $5 a month into the AMP program, and then we use that to help advertise, market, and promote the show, meaning that we'll get on more radio stations, bring new internet listeners on board. I just got notice today that there's a new station coming on for Sundays, so we will welcome them on Sunday night. But I will let you know that those numbers are going up slowly over time, and it's thanks to listeners like Leah H., who've joined the AMP program. And there are some cool perks that you get. You get some bennies for being a Free Talk Live amplifier, like access to the AMP discussion rooms on our Discord server. And in fact, we're going to the Discord here in just a moment. But go to ampamp.freetalklive.com and sign up there with PayPal or credit card or Bitcoin BTC. That's amp.freetalklive.com. As we go to the Discord call-in line rooms, where Clamoring is on the line in New Hampshire. Hello, Clamoring.
Hey there.
Hey, you're on the
I
air.
wanted to talk about coronavirus.
Okay,
which
sure.
is, of course, all in the news right now.
What's the latest on it? I have not been following it closely.
Well, the latest is that it's mostly in Asia, I guess, is the short version of that. But I had a personal story that I just wanted to share with you from a close friend of mine in Seattle. And he happened to have been traveling in rural China kind of at the start of the outbreak. So when he came home, he ended up with some symptomatic issues, and he was concerned that he might have coronavirus. So he called his local hospital and, said, hey, can I come in and get first of all, let me back up. He isolated himself in his own home.
Okay.
Called them and said, I might have coronavirus. Can I get tested? So they showed up in hazmat suits.
Whoa.
And forcibly took him to the hospital. And I just wanted to read his little Facebook post
hold
here.
on.
Because that's so much easier than saying, sure, come
Right?
on in.
Right?
Yeah, hold on. When you say they showed up, who was it that was in the hazmat suits? Was it,
The
cops?
people in the ambulance.
The ambulance
No, they
workers,
were
okay.
not cops. They were medical people, as far as I understand.
But it's unusual to hear of ambulance workers forcing someone to do something. Usually that's what the cops
But
do.
he did call them for this purpose.
I would not
He
be
did
the
call them.
least surprised if it turned out that it was the CDC that was in that ambulance. Because that sounds
I'm
like the
not
sort of thing CDC might do.
Well, I'll give you a few more details. He said, his post says, I actually called in because I did not want to invade a hospital with a contamination, and they arrived in force in hazmat suits and put me in isolation at the hospital. I never actually consented to any of it. It's all very strange. And another friend of mine said, well, how did they get, how did this happen? Did they tell you they were going to just take you or something? And he said, well, it was pouring rain outside, so they used the classic free candy in the van trick. Come inside out of the rain, the hot paramedic proposed. Things got a bit weird, and then they strapped me in and informed me I was going to the hospital. He asked, do I have to go? They said, yes, it's protocol. And he asked, oh, you really have a protocol set up for this? That's awesome. They said, well, we don't, but I'm pretty sure they do at the hospital. I really don't mind a pretty hazmat girl tending to me as we bounce through the streets at breakneck speed while she tries to find a vein. It was a mashup of medical tourism and that movie Speed.
What?
Wow.
Why would they need to tap his vein in the ambulance?
He was actually sick. Like, he was dehydrated and stuff, so I think they were trying to get a saline into him.
Fluid into him.
So they were trying to IV him for that reason.
Okay.
But it gets better.
All right. Or worse.
He's just, exactly. But he's just posting this like, a few weeks later after his incident, because he's been released and everything, because it didn't turn out to be coronavirus. He just had a bad cold or whatever. But he's getting medical bills. Like, he's like, oh, we're up to like $5,000 now for being forcibly restrained and taken into isolation at a hospital against his consent.
Wow.
See,
I think
he called them, though,
he did
right?
call them,
so I don't know if I feel like this was against his consent when you call them and you tell them you have the coronavirus.
I totally disagree with that. I don't think
it seems
that
like
he
a bit of a
consented
stretch.
He called
them and said he had the coronavirus. What did you expect was going to happen?
He did not ask them to send an ambulance, though. I strongly doubt he asked them to send an ambulance.
I can understand the objection to the dollars, but I'm not necessarily sure. You know,
I would like to know more before I could agree whether he consented or not. I'd like to know more about the interaction because, if they showed up at his house and said, "Come on into this ambulance here, sir. It's nice and dry." Well, then he consented to go into the ambulance. They said, "Sir, we're just going to need you to lay down on this stretcher." I mean, at some point,
this is like calling 911 and then expecting an ambulance not to show up.
Yeah, and again, unless it was a man with a gun telling him you must, then it sounds kind of consensual to me. I mean,
I don't know.
I'm not having been there. So
here's the other thing. Like, I don't necessarily know. Like if there was ever any justification for like doing something like this is probably it, right? Like,
you mean forcibly treating people?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of forcefully treating people, but like.
Now, wait a minute. I mean, I don't know if we can get a little personal here, but your partner went to the hospital this week.
Yeah.
Were there any weird things that transpired there? Or was he forced to do things against his will? I mean, did you hear?
I mean, you go to the hospital here. I mean, the whole point of going to the hospital is that you want treatment. Right. If you call them up, I would expect them, tell you, put a face mask on. Well, in this case, he went to the hospital. He was told, put a face mask on, which kind of makes sense now, especially because of the coronavirus.
And you said a lot of people had masks on.
A lot of people had masks on. Anybody with any kind of fever or anything of that nature had a mask on. Their beds were full at the hospital. Now, probably not because of the coronavirus, but because of the flu. So the beds were full.
Yeah, there haven't been very many coronavirus any kind of indicators in the U.S.
But there's still protocol now to how to deal with this. And the protocol is effectively make sure everybody has a face mask on. And if they test, if they test positive. So first they test you for the flu. So he tested positive. So that was actually a good thing because if he had tested negative, then he would have been tested for the coronavirus.
But isn't the coronavirus just a different variant on the flu?
It's a variant on the cold, I think.
Oh, it's
It's not the same virus.
Yeah, it's something different.
Interesting.
So anyway, so he tested, they never tested him for the coronavirus because he already tested positive for
the flu. Yeah.
Right. So that was a good thing in reality.
Right.
But if he had tested,
well, I mean, not necessarily. The flu's probably more deadly than the coronavirus, isn't it?
That's misleading because so the problem is that there's going to be more people who die from the coronavirus in the end than die from the flu.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because the flu doesn't infect as many people as the coronavirus will ultimately, unless they can get the R naught down. Effectively, the reason for this is because more people are going to be infected by the coronavirus because it spreads more. So if one person, for example, if you were to be infected with the flu, you might infect one other person. But if you were infected with the coronavirus, you're probably going to infect 6-8 other people, something like that. So there's going to be more, even though there's a lower death rate, maybe it's still more people are going to die as a result.
The other issue is it's got a long incubation period during which the patients seem to be asymptomatic. So you don't know you have it
until it's too late,
until you've had it for a while,
which is the whole reason you infect more people.
Exactly. That gives you a chance to infect a lot more people.
Well, and there's people that are asymptomatic completely.
Yeah. So
they can pass it on to somebody else, and people are saying that the virus can live up to like 9 days. They're not exactly sure,
24
but
probably, or close to 24. The 14 days that the people are being
no, I mean on surfaces.
Right. I gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that people have to remember about this whole coronavirus. So what we're beginning to see now is exponential outside of China. And we're basically outside of China where China was in December. So and people have this idea that people aren't going to die outside the United States. Well, that's just not true. It's just that it's only beginning to become this exponential thing outside the United States, but it's going to become, we're going to end up as bad as China probably.
Clamoring, any other thoughts you want to share? Go ahead.
No, thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for the story. I appreciate hearing from you. She's there on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. That is where you can call in and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio, or just go there and chat with other Free Talk Live listeners. There's text chat, there's voice chat available around the clock at discord.lrn.fm. Coming up, the Boy Scouts are bankrupt. We'll talk about what that means, especially when it comes to their sex abuse lawsuits. Coming up.
Our history classes start teaching the Constitution around 1776 or even later. The foundation of our Constitution goes deeper than that. Without examining the context that gave America its principles and its founding documents, we cannot understand the foundation of our liberty and our constitutional republic. Liberty First University teaches online classes in a way that all ages find compelling and understandable, from middle school to law school. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,622, silver at $18.41, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,611. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, longtime Donald Trump ally Roger Stone was sentenced Thursday afternoon to 40 months in prison. News to Share was there and captured video of Stone entering and exiting the courthouse, as well as his supporters and protesters. A few members of the right-wing group, the Proud Boys, of which Stone is an honorary member, showed up at court to support him. Claude Taylor, a prominent anti-Trump activist, inflated a giant rat in front of the courthouse. As press awaited the recently sentenced Stone to exit the courthouse, right-wing journalist Owen Schroyer began yelling at journalists. Stone exited the courthouse and departed in a black SUV with a grin, but without making any statement. Late last year, Stone was convicted of 1 count of obstructing a proceeding, 5 counts of making false statements to Congress, and 1 count of witness tampering in the Mueller probe. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. A new study published in the prestigious medical journal, The Lancet, has calculated that a switch to a Medicare for All healthcare system would save the United States over 68,000 lives and over $450 billion each year. The report's team, headed by Dr. Allison P. Govani of Yale University, concluded that the shift to single-payer healthcare would provide the greatest relief to lower-income households and reduce overall health spending by 13%. MidPress News reports that Improving the Prognosis of Healthcare in the USA, the title of the report, makes a number of basic calculations based on existing figures that show the difference in cost between private healthcare and the Medicare system in place for those age 65 or over. It finds that there are huge cost savings that can be made by switching to socialized healthcare. A federal judge dismissed the claims of Houston residents seeking to hold the government liable for flooding their homes with Hurricane Harvey stormwater released from 2 dams, finding there is no constitutional right to perfect flood control. Activist Post reports U.S. Court of Federal Claims Judge Lauren Smith's order on Tuesday came the same day the WeatherWise magazine published a study naming Hurricane Harvey the most extreme storm of the 2010s, responsible for $108 billion in property damage and 82 deaths. Harvey stalled over the Houston area for 4 days in August 2017, swamping neighborhoods and freeways and forcing people to evacuate in chest-deep water as first responders and Good Samaritans rescued others in boats, and Coast Guard crews threw down rope ladders from helicopters for those who had climbed onto their roofs to escape the rising water. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Now Facebook is rolling out their newest feature, LifePoint, which analyzes users' histories to determine exactly when things went wrong. The new feature combs through photos, status updates, likes, everything that you put on Facebook in order to pinpoint how someone irreparably ruined their life. For example, it might highlight your friend's spring break trip in 2003 when she took her first shot, or your cousin's engagement to a guy named Scott spelled with a K.
So, Facebook must have a lot of depressing information to work with. Well, we look for sadness indicators, positive versus negative adjectives and status updates, whether you've liked a corporate entity such as Walmart or Arby's.
One of LifePoint's most buzzed about features is the Life Compare function, which lets you see how your mistakes stack up to others.
Here, I'm overlaying my graph with a graph of a childhood friend. You can see his life ended up much worse than mine, which is great.
Anything with a profile has a LifePoint, so you can look forward to finding out when your favorite bands, TV shows, and companies started going downhill.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour here. You may take control of the airwaves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
So the Boy Scouts of America have filed for bankruptcy. Now, we're going to get into that and what happened. Of course, you're welcome to join us. The toll-free number again, 855-450-FREE. Now, last year, I remember the story that they were changing their name, so I had to go and check, like, why are they referring to them as the Boy Scouts if they're no longer the Boy Scouts? And it turns out Boy Scouts of America is the parent organization. They still have that same name. But the organization that changed names was the Boy Scouts. So I guess that's separate. So like the Boy Scouts of America have underneath their umbrella the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, and there's some other really Weeblo, I believe it is. The youngest group, I think, is what that is. I don't know. I was only a Boy Scout for like 2 weeks.
I think Weeblo is in the middle.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. I was never into it as a child, so I don't know it all. But so they changed the name of the Boy Scouts to Scouts BSA because last year they officially allowed girls to join the Boy Scouts. And so Boy Scouts of America is the parent organization. That's the one that is filing for bankruptcy. According to CNN, they filed for bankruptcy in Delaware Bankruptcy Court early Tuesday this week. The youth organization, which celebrated its 110th anniversary this year, listed liabilities of between $100 million and $500 million and estimated assets of $1 billion to $10 billion. The bankruptcy filing comes at a time when the organization is facing hundreds of sexual abuse lawsuits, thousands of alleged abuse victims, and dwindling membership numbers. As a result of the filing, all civil litigation against the organization has been suspended. Now, that's interesting. I don't know a whole lot about civil court,
it's because
but
of bankruptcy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
that's
was
what
a thing.
happens with bankruptcy protections. Yeah, that's why you file for bankruptcy protection.
So it just stops lawsuits against
temporarily.
you, huh?
Yeah.
So what happens after? I mean, presuming the bankruptcy goes through, do the litigators in the civil cases then become creditors if they
divide up the assets effectively?
If they're ruled in favor, if their cases move forward and they're ruled in favor?
You can come out of bankruptcy, but I don't know.
There's different types of bankruptcy.
There's different types of bankruptcy.
Reorganization or liquidation.
Yeah, so...
According to the story here, so the other civil litigation is currently suspended.
Does it say what chapter? Have they said that?
I'm going to guess that they'll get to that, but I have not seen that yet. Paul Monis, a Los Angeles-based attorney representing, quote, hundreds of sexual abuse victims in individual lawsuits, unquote, called the organization's bankruptcy filing a tragedy. He said these young boys took an oath. They pledged to be obedient, pledged to support the Scouts, and pledged to be honorable. Oh yeah, there's this oath thing. Have you ever been involved with the Scouts? I guess not, right?
No, I haven't. But
I swear
I'm
to
sorry.
do
So
my
wait, is he
duty
actually?
Hold on, he's got the oath. You
Okay.
know it. Were you a Scout?
Briefly. It was something about I
God and my
swear
country?
to do my duty to God and country. Something along those lines.
That sounds familiar.
let me get this straight. So he's saying, is he what he really suggesting that they should remain silent because they took an oath to the Boy Scouts?
No, this is the attorney who's suing.
No, he's saying that they gave this oath of loyalty to do the right thing by the Boy Scouts, and now the Boy Scouts are trying to avoid doing the right thing by them by going bankrupt instead of disgorging some of the $1 billion worth of assets that they do still appear to have.
Okay.
Yeah, to finish the quote, he said they pledged to be obedient, pledged to support the Scouts, and pledged to be honorable. Many of them are extremely angry that that's not what happened to them, and the Boy Scouts of America did not step up in the way they should have, he said. The Boy Scouts of America has faced hundreds of lawsuits from alleged sexual abuse victims across the country, all of which are now suspended because of the bankruptcy filing. Several of those suits allege repeated fondling, exposure to pornography, and forced anal or oral sex. In response, the Boy Scouts of America said at the time that they, quote, care deeply about all victims of child abuse and sincerely apologize to anyone who was harmed during their time in scouting. They added that they were, quote, outraged that there have been times when individuals took advantage of our program to abuse innocent children. They said further that we believe victims, we support them, we pay for counseling by a provider of their choice, and we encourage them to come forward. It is the Boy Scouts of America BSA policy that all incidents of suspected abuse are reported to law enforcement, said the organization. Last April, exposed court testimony showed the organization believed more than 7,800 of its former leaders were involved in sexually abusing more than 12,000 children over the course of 72 years. Munnis, who is part of a legal team that won an $18.5 million verdict against the Boy Scouts of America for former Scout and sexual abuse victim Carrie Lewis in 2010, said Monday that instead of potentially having their day in court, alleged victims who had pending lawsuits will now need to file claims in bankruptcy court. So that's what has to happen.
So yeah, they're becoming creditors. And the other thing that I don't know if this will happen, but it may well prevent actual judgments on these sexual abuse lawsuits. So, which would give the BSA a way to pay out potentially through bankruptcy court without having it on the public record that there was a successful sexual abuse lawsuit against him because there was
just
a bankruptcy proceeding, but we're not saying what happens there.
I think there's some temporary. I think some of that's temporary though. So if they come out of bankruptcy, they can still be sued and similar. So I don't necessarily know that's going to put a total stop to it. I don't know enough about the bankruptcy laws, but I think that's how it works.
If you do know and you want to weigh in, you're welcome to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Michael Pfau, a Seattle-based attorney whose firm represents 300 alleged victims across the country, said the bankruptcy claims process will be decidedly different for those who are suffering due to the Boy Scouts of America's alleged inaction. He said, quote, they won't have to give depositions involving their life history. Their lives won't be scrutinized, but they lose the right to a jury trial. For a lot of abuse survivors, telling their story in a court of law and forcing the organizations to defend their actions can be cathartic. That won't happen with a bankruptcy hearing, said Pfau. Munnis said in the aftermath of the Lewis case, his office received hundreds of phone calls from adult males claiming to have been Boy Scouts of America sexual abuse victims. Now, of course, how do you really know?
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest, problems with claims coming in later on. Now they're adults. It's been a decade, 2 decades. Somebody saw a headline showing a big payout, right? $18.5 million was the verdict in this one guy's case. There's a lot of people in the Scouts who, maybe they're in a bad place in their life 10 or 20 years later, and they see a headline hit the newspapers, and they're like, maybe I could make $10 million.
And what's even more kind of messed up is that it's like I understand that some kids could potentially have had traumatic experiences going through this, but really 18 million. I mean, it just seems such an overreaction relative to.
Now we don't know what that case was about.
No, we don't. We don't. Maybe
we don't
there
know what
was
the allegations were.
There was some sort of severe abuse, and it's not just. Some fondling or whatever, but it still seems like such an overreaction. considering like at least every adult just about is interested in sex and having sex. And the only thing that seems to be outrageous about this is that, and not necessarily from my perspective, but from the perspective of somebody who is straight having been infected. But if it was like a male and a female, the reactions wouldn't have been the same.
Wait, what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that it's
gay.
Yeah, because it's gay, people are upset more so than if this had been between a hot female teacher and a boy, the student.
Well, I mean, I strongly doubt that very many of the hot female teacher suits are actually forcible rape.
That's probably true. That's true. A lot of those cases,
it would be very difficult for a woman to forcibly rape a man. Just
Well, we've got we've seen those stories over the years, and they're almost always a result of criminal charges brought by the police, not at the behest of the young boy. More coming up.
Next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Did anything weird happen to you while you were in the Boy Scouts? Well, now they are filing for bankruptcy, and that apparently is going to affect a bunch of civil lawsuits that are currently pending against the Boy Scouts of America. And now these people involved in the civil lawsuits are going to have to file in the bankruptcy case against them instead. So if you want to jump into the conversation, you're welcome to. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. There was one story about a man who's received a judgment of $18.5 million that the Boy Scouts of America will have to pay because of a man who was one of their, I presume, scoutmasters who committed some sort of abuse. I'm actually trying to determine, because you were shocked by that number.
Yeah,
Chris.
I mean that number, but the number doesn't surprise me. It just seems more of an issue of bigotry than anything else. I just can't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't conceive of if this had been between a female and a male. I cannot conceive of the same outcome.
Meaning an older female and a young male,
as
opposed to an older male and a young male.
I can't conceive of this. I'm a gay man, and like if I had been fondled as a 11-year-old, I would have been like ecstatic.
Wait, what?
Oh. If somebody had fondled me as an 11-year-old, I would have been ecstatic.
Oh, you would want that.
I'm a guy, right? I'm a gay guy. Like
okay.
Gay guys, like this is not something that would upset them.
Gotcha.
And anyway, so that's just what I'm trying to say.
Well, you wouldn't have told anybody. Then,
I'm sure most young guys would also feel the same way if it had been straight guys if it had been like a female.
Yeah, so the story that I'm looking at here doesn't get into any of the allegations against this person in the $18.5 million case. So we don't know what the details were. I'm sure if I kept digging and digging, we might be able to figure that out. But according to this story, even after the individual was found to have been, a danger or whatever, they still continued to allow him to volunteer for the Scouts. So they didn't even really cut off ties with the guy. After that,
that's real problematical. That's why the church gets into trouble too. I mean, these just it happening isn't as much of a huge liability issue because employers normally are not liable for the criminal acts of their employees unless
wait a minute,
unless they're ordered to do it.
I don't know about that. I think
So there were two cases here. One was an initial case where he got an initial verdict of $1.4 million, and then there was another case later with the $18.5 million. The guy who was the apparent abuser was alleged to let's see here that. Yeah, it said the abuse was severe and it was over a period of a number of years, and it was to more than one individual. And that further, even after a complaint by
so the 18 million was a set of plaintiffs, not a single
that's
plaintiff.
That's not clear. It may have been I'm not clear on that, but they allege that the man, after a complaint by a young boy's mother and his own admission of abusing several boys, including some of the plaintiffs in the suit. So yeah, apparently there were more than.
So was this the boy or boys bringing the suit, or was his parents bringing the suit?
Well, the abuse goes back to 1979 to 1985.
So these would have at least been adults at
later.
this point.
It would have been them later on in their lives.
Somebody who was involved as a child then probably was at least involved in something that they didn't like at the time.
Several boys, including some of the suits happened years later.
Right.
But some of the plaintiffs he was removed from his post as scoutmaster, but was still allowed to volunteer and attend scout meetings. They even said that he was having, I guess, some of these boys to his home for whatever it was that was going on there. So anyway,
but
the
that's
Boy
not
Scouts,
unusual, I don't think, in Scouts, is it?
I have no idea. I was in the Scouts against my will.
Okay.
My parents put me in there, and I never actually. I was like probably 13 or whatever at that time, and I wouldn't swear the oath.
I never actually joined. I don't know enough about it. I just know people who were in Scouts and Boy Scouts and things like that.
Yeah.
And all I remember, and maybe it's Girl Scouts that I'm thinking of, like that they did this, but I remember like Girl Scouts, where
they're the ones that sell the cookies.
Yeah, right. They got together in like homes and things like that's what they did. They got together and they did their little thing. And I don't think the Girl Scouts were like overnighting the camping stuff, but I know they got together with like
they must have done camping. Come on, I don't know. They must do camping.
I was not under
with
the impression
Girl
that they
Scouts.
did in the 80s, but maybe they did, or 90s, early 90s.
Well, it's silly for us
Scout.
it's silly for us to sit here and speculate about what goes on in these organizations. But back to the story here on what's happening now with the bankruptcy case. That according to the story, one of these lawyers received hundreds of phone calls from adult males. Again, this is after the $18.5 million thing happened with this other suit. So the payout happened, and then all of a sudden, the lawyers become awash in phone calls from men now in their 30s or whatever that claim that they were also molested.
Right.
Many states had statutes of limitations that narrowed the legal options at the time. It wasn't until years later when some state legislators enacted new laws that enabled victims to file lawsuits without limits on when the alleged abuse took place, that a barrage of complaints against the youth organizations were filed.
This is okay. So this is the problem. There's a reason.
A huge problem,
right?
yeah.
There's a reason that there's a statute of limitations, right? We don't have these infallible memories, and so the whole point of the statute of limitations is to reduce the risk of injustices occurring.
If you have more than one witness to an event, you're going to have more than one story about what happened because memories are quite fallible.
Right.
Witnesses are notoriously fallible.
Yeah, I mean, they undid all these effectively protections against injustice.
We're basically in a point today where even with video and audio evidence, that's fallible because now it's easily manipulated with things like deep fakes and audio profiles of voices. It can all be faked at this point. So you combine that with witness testimony and you don't know what's true. There's no way to even know what actually happened now.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but I mean, I think it seems like to me the best answer for this type of situation is to inform, to educate, kids that if somebody's doing something that you
report
don't
it
like,
right then.
to say something right away and get them out of that situation and, solve it, cut it off from the beginning. But to try and go back and, make right something that happened 30 years ago, it's just,
Look, I don't want to minimize what actually happened to people who are really abused, but how could you know if you've got 200 people who all of a sudden file in on this, bandwagon saying, "Oh yeah, I was definitely abused when I was a kid," in the Boy Scouts. But how many of them are telling the truth, and how many of them are after a payday?
And here's my other problem with
You're
this.
a misogynist if you ask that question.
Here's my other problem with this.
Oh no! Wait a minute. These are boys. It's okay.
There are so many things that I did as a child that I didn't want to do. But do I feel like I have the right to go back and like sue my parents or sue whatever it is, the teacher or whatever that because I was made to do something I didn't.
I mean, being sexually assaulted is not being made to finish your green bean.
For you, maybe, but that doesn't necessarily mean the case is the same for every other human
Hold
being.
that thought. We can continue here. 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary, and does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free here and bring up what you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. We're talking about the Boy Scouts filing for bankruptcy in the midst of a number of sexual abuse claims and civil suits that have resulted from those claims. Now, all of those civil suits have to be put on hold during the bankruptcy hearing. The civil allegations can be brought up, I guess, in bankruptcy court. Apparently, they can file as creditors.
Yeah, see, there's two different things being said here. One is that these claims shift to bankruptcy court, and the other is that they're put on hold. And so I'm thinking, which one is it?
Isn't it? I think it's something along the lines of the people who have sued and got judgments. Those are now creditors, but the people who have not yet sued that are trying to sue are the other side.
Yeah,
the ones that will be put on hold.
So
possibly, but the thing is, you can't finish adjudicating a bankruptcy until you know all the creditors. So at some point, they have to figure out what.
I'm not sure.
I don't know how
enough
this,
of the details.
I don't think they can postpone the other suits till after. I wish Melanie was here.
Yeah, I don't know how this shakes out. If you know and you want to weigh in, you're welcome to join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Coming up fast, actually. We're maybe like 5-6 weeks away from LibertyCon. April 3rd through the 5th. It's going to be happening in Washington, D.C. It's for liberty-minded folks who want to network with more than 70 pro-freedom organizations for career advancement, business, or internship opportunities. You'll see great speakers like John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO, and others. You can go to libertycon.com to see the full list of who's going to be talking there. There's also going to be some debates, including a debate on the topic, Is Government Necessary?, featuring David Friedman, who will be arguing that government is not necessary, while Timothy Sandifer will argue that it is. Plus another debate, does capitalism require government intervention? The economics editor for Barron's, Gene Epstein, will say that it does not require intervention, and Stephen Pearlstein from the Washington Post will argue in favor of intervention. You can go to libertycon.com, use code FTL, save $10 on the already shockingly affordable tickets. These are sub $100. You get a $99 ticket and knock $10 more off of that by going to libertycon.com, code FTL, like Free Talk Live. And Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event, so we'll look forward to seeing you there if you're going. It's April 3rd through the 5th in D.C. That's libertycon.com with code FTL.
You going down for that?
I am.
Oh, wow. How are you getting there?
I have not determined that yet.
Okay.
I'm debating with possibly taking a train because I hate driving in D.C. So
DC's terrible.
I just don't like being in D.C., period, but I'm willing to go to this convention because it sounds like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, see, I keep thinking, is there some way I can get there without passing through D.C.? Or could you seal me in a 55-gallon drum and just open it up in the hotel?
Check it out. Uber. LibertyCon.com, code FTL. All right, so back to the story here from CNN about the Boy Scouts of America who are in the midst of bankruptcy court now. According to the story, there are a bunch of victims or alleged victims who are now claiming they want to cash in decades later on what allegedly happened to them now that they've seen that there's big money to be made. They filed lawsuits as a result of certain state legislators who've enacted new laws enabling victims to go beyond what was the statute of limitations. One of their attorneys estimates the number of claimants will eclipse those of the Catholic Church. He said, quote,
"Holy moly."
That shouldn't be too surprising, though. I mean, this is an organization that takes kids in and goes on trips and things with them, like camping.
Well, I mean, the Catholic Church has kids, too.
It's hard to out-molest the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I mean, the Catholic Church is a global organization.
But the Catholic Church doesn't take kids on trips, do they?
I mean, I'm sure there are things like that.
They have schools. They have orphanages.
But a school situation is very different than,
No, it's not. It's still adults in authority over young people.
Yeah,
plenty of opportunities for abuse.
I guess you're
boarding
right.
schools also, in some cases.
It seems like it would be more. I mean, going on a camping trip is more like having some kid in, a bed with an adult. I mean, it's like the equivalent of that,
Do they share tents?
I'm just a
scouting trip.
I don't. Honestly, I don't know. I've never been.
Know.
I'm just assuming, I guess.
The Catholic bankruptcies are limited in geographic scope. Here, there will be claimants from all 50 states and the American territories, said the attorney. We can talk about files and numbers, but in reality, if you step back and realize the scope of the human carnage, it's stunning, he said. Reports of a bankruptcy filing had swirled as early as December of 2018 when the Wall Street Journal reported BSA, Boy Scouts hired law firm Sidley Austin for possible Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing assistance, but no official filing happened until this week. In the 14 months since then, the youth organization has allowed children who identify as girls to join the Scouts. It's a funny way to say it, in a controversial move that was seen by some, including the Girl Scouts of the USA, as an attempt to raise their diminished enrollment numbers. Yeah, that's definitely what that was, and apparently it didn't work. In August, the organization referred about, because you don't hear these stories about the Girl Scouts, do you? You don't ever hear a story about, physical abuse within the Girl Scouts organization. Maybe it's happened, but I've never heard of it.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened.
It's got to have
in
happened.
Any organization that size that deals with children. It's going to happen sometimes, but I have not heard about it.
It's probably so. There's certainly women that are doing things like messing around with kids. But I think I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I think that statistically it's like a smaller percentage of women as opposed to males. So that's probably
I wonder
why.
if it's actually a smaller percentage or only a smaller percentage are caught.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
In August, the organization referred about 120 allegations of abuse by Scout leaders to law enforcement for further investigation, saying it believes victims and that the youth organization is working to, quote, or to identify, quote, additional alleged perpetrators, unquote. Boy Scouts named a new president, a former Scout who pledged to move the organization forward. Last week, the organization announced a partnership with 1 in 6, a leading organization for male survivors of sexual abuse, to expand their services and better support the needs of victims. Boy Scouts of America's CEO and president, Roger Mosby, announced the partnership saying, quote, "We sincerely apologize to anyone who was harmed in scouting. In addition to implementing strong policies to prevent abuse, we are dedicated to supporting victims when and how they need it," unquote. For alleged victims, however, the organization's bankruptcy filing may represent another institution that failed to protect them and is avoiding taking responsibility for the abuse that happened under its watch. The attorney, one of them, said, "We need to make sure that we receive some accountability, and if bankruptcy court is how we have to do it, then so be it," he said. In an open letter to victims, the national chairman of the Boy Scouts of America, Jim Turley, wrote the organization entered into bankruptcy to make sure it's able to equitably compensate all the victims of abuse.
Yeah, see, that was my point. If that you don't, if you do want to be responsible and you have that many plaintiffs, you don't want the first few
to get it all
plaintiffs to empty the whole bucket, and then everybody else is toast because the money's gone.
He said the BSA cannot undo what happened to you, but we're committed to supporting you and to doing everything in our power to prevent it from happening to others, he wrote. The letter going on to say that the, quote, National Organization of the Boy Scouts of America has initiated a voluntary financial restructuring to ensure we can equitably compensate all victims of past abuse in our programs through a proposed victims compensation trust. I encourage you and all victims to come forward and file claims so you can receive compensation from this trust. We will provide clear notices about how to do so. I think that you're absolutely right about this, Nobody. That's what they were looking to do here.
I have to wonder, as a side effect, that this has got to undermine any man who might otherwise participate in a positive, group for young people.
Yeah, it would be terrifying to do that.
I wouldn't want to, do a. I mean, again, I don't know exactly all the details of scouting, but I wouldn't want to be a scout master.
No,
or whatever,
hell no, it's terrifying.
Take a bunch of boys out if there's this huge risk.
Right, you thought that you were just going to go help him, tie some knots and build some boats or whatever it is that they do in the Boy Scouts, and then 20 years later, all these allegations come out that you didn't have anything to do with, and how can you prove you didn't?
You can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty horrific.
Right, and let's say that you created some sort of policy that the boys didn't like or whatever, and they specifically come after you for it. It had nothing to do with sexual abuse, but they go ahead and they know they're going to be believed.
Absolutely.
So they just cook up a story to get you in hot water. Why would anyone want to put themselves in a situation like that? Yep. Yeah. The toll-free number here, this may be the end of the Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
855-450-FREE. They may dissolve their assets and pay out all these alleged victims and close it down.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800 1-800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
The Onion looks back at this week in history. On May 6, 1937, the explosion of the German passenger ship Hindenburg brought cheer to an entire generation of Americans in the midst of the Great Depression. The souls of the American people were fleetingly revitalized by the flame-engulfed Zeppelin and the shrill screams of burning passengers leaping to their heartwarming deaths.
Oh my, it's burst into flames! The burning embers and charred flesh are cascading splendidly onto the mooring mast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrific thing I've ever seen. Oh, the luminosity, the gaiety!
And on May 7th, 2000, Vladimir Putin became president of Russia after promising citizens he could bend anything they gave him with just his bare hands. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of the Italian philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli, whoever wants to foresee the future must first look at the past and then imagine all that old stuff looking more future-y and space-like.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free and join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, and you can join us there and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us tonight. It's Ian
and Chris
and nobody.
I had the chance to help someone install a new or an Edge wallet onto their phone today. We were out at our cryptocurrency meetup, and Edge wallet. Over at edge.app. That's where you can learn more about it. It's a great wallet that allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies, and it supports a bunch of them like Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Ethereum, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, Bitcoin, and more. Head on over to edge.app, learn more about the technology behind it, or just go to your Google or Apple App Store and download Edge Wallet, which is what we did today. The cashier had a few minutes of downtime. She had expressed interest, actually said that she had had some Bitcoin in the past. She said that she needed it for what's called Forex trading, which I don't know a whole lot about that, but apparently she had to load her Forex wallet with Bitcoin and then convert to dollars in order to do Forex trading, which was kind of
interesting.
I don't know how that works. But
that's not how they used to do. Forex is foreign exchange.
Yeah.
So basically, you're usually trading in different fiat currencies.
Right.
But maybe that was just the easiest way for her to get her money to the exchange.
Maybe she doesn't have a bank account.
Maybe
because a lot of people don't have bank accounts. So if
that'd be one way to do it. Then.
That's one way to do it for sure.
So anyway, since she already was interested, I was like, well, you need to get a wallet, and I got her Edge wallet, and it was super fast for her to set it up. She was able to download it and get it set up before the next set of customers came in, and I was able to tip her with Bitcoin Cash and Dash. Cool. So head over to edge.app to learn more about it. You can bring up whatever you want. We were just talking about the kind of the chilling effect that these lawsuits are having, not just the Boy Scouts situation where they're facing suits, they're now filing bankruptcy. It sounds like they're going to put a bunch of whatever assets they have left into some kind of a trust to pay out to pretty much anybody and anyone who makes a claim, because it's not like you can prove anything.
Yeah.
At this point, so hey, anybody who's a former Boy Scout, you want to milk the organization for some cash? All you got to do is claim that you were molested or whatever when you were younger, because it's not like you can prove your claims.
Nope.
What if you can't even remember the Scoutmaster's name? What if it's just like, oh yeah, I definitely was touched by someone. I don't remember what his name was. I was in the Scouts between these years in this place. Will they pay you?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to make a claim against the Scoutmaster.
Doesn't matter,
way,
right?
but
You can make a claim against the organization.
You could make a claim against the organization, yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're just willing to pay out anybody who makes a claim at this point.
It is absolutely ridiculous. The lack of evidence in these cases. It's in other cases, they probably have to present some evidence, but this is just basically he say versus she said, and not even that, because how does the Boy Scouts of America defend itself?
They can't.
They can't. They weren't there. They didn't. They weren't really the people now. Aren't
right.
The people then are not involved now.
They've got
they couldn't even have.
They've got a canned response. Yeah. We're sorry this happened to you. Here's some money.
Yeah,
and that's what this has turned into. And then combine this with the whole Me Too culture thing that came out in the last couple of years, where you've got people in college or whatever, who are deathly afraid of even going out on a date with somebody of their same age range, because they're worried that they're going to be alleged to have committed some sort of a rape claim against them because of that. You've got colleges now that are instructing their attendees to get ongoing consent. Have you heard about this? Where the policy is that if you are a student on campus and you are going to go out with and possibly have sex with another student on campus, that you have to get ongoing consent during any kind of sexual encounter.
Wow.
Yeah, this has been going on for a few years now.
So, does that mean that, if I was going out with somebody who I had a relationship with and, they were all okay with me, touching them and stuff, I couldn't go and, grab their ass or something like that?
You would have to
would that be a violation of that policy then, without having to be like, can I grab you? Yeah,
so basically you would have to ask permission is essentially what they're saying.
Wow.
Yeah, now I don't know if you can grant, continuing permission. I'm not sure what all the rules are, right? I don't know if you can sign a sex contract or something saying you can grab my butt anytime without asking.
That just undermines any kind of, if I want to, say
excitement,
right? Try to get them, entice them into, going, back to my dorm room. I can't do that anymore.
Not without, completely ruining the mood, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's been going on for, I think we first talked about those stories maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, when the first schools started to implement that.
Wow.
And it's becoming more and more popular, more common. The whole idea of it is just ridiculous, but yet that's where we are. So, what does this do to relationships? What does this do to people, and how they trust or don't trust somebody else? The fear around what might happen with a new partner.
I can't relate to this, but I know so many people who have told me, the same guys who have told me the same situation, where they're just basically, they haven't said it outright, I'm afraid, but they've said it in less direct words, that they're afraid, and they can't ask
just to go out,
ask somebody out, because they're so afraid that they're going to be accused of some sort of assault or something.
That's tragic. And, if there's any reason why people are going to start turning to robots, this is going to be one of them, right? It would be one thing. It's one thing, and it's hard enough for a lot of people to date, right? Like, maybe you don't feel like you're attractive enough, or you're out of your league, or whatever. Like, there's all these other reasons why dating is a challenge, and now you've got all these extra legal fears that are being piled onto it. I can totally understand why somebody would be like, you know what? These robots are starting to look pretty realistic, and they don't talk back, and they're not going to file a lawsuit against you.
It's certainly
and they'll clean the kitchen.
It's an industry that's growing.
I don't think sex bots will clean the kitchen.
Eventually, they will.
They've got
maybe eventually, not
right now.
These days.
No, they don't really have sex robots right now, from what I understand, but they're coming.
No, they don't have sex robots, but they do have sex dolls.
They do,
and that industry is growing substantially.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I don't understand that personally, because it's like, why would you want to?
I understand it. It's because of stuff like this.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to definitely drive a lot of this. But personally, I wouldn't want to be.
Well, I understand.
That.
I get that. I get that aspect of it. But
this
it's
lifeless thing, like what?
Well, I mean, think of it this way: if you're scared enough and you're not getting it, what do?
Well,
at some point you get desperate enough and you do things that you wouldn't otherwise do.
I guess. I mean,
I've always managed to take care of that without any mechanical assistance.
I mean, I get where you guys are coming from. I'm kind of there with you, but not everybody's
sometimes I
like
use
that.
my left hand, so it feels like somebody else is doing it.
Yeah, it's different.
Tentative and unsure.
So if you want to jump in here, you can. Has this all affected you? I mean, have any
I
of
would
these
love
things?
to have somebody call in and talk about their experience.
Has this Me Too culture had an effect on you? As your likelihood, or you're less than likely now to get out there into the world and meet people and go on dates and that sort of thing. You're welcome to join us.
Well, what I hope the Me Too culture will do is encourage people to come forward immediately, not 20 years later.
I don't know if that's gonna. It's a good question of will that solve the problem unless they come forward immediately in that like you just were assaulted and now that you're going and you're getting taking the evidence, because then there's evidence, right? If it's really immediately. But the problem is, I think when you say immediately, I suspect it's probably going to be more like 3 or 4 days later, or a week later, or a month later, not 20 years later. But it's still. It's still going to be without evidence.
Even then, it's a good thing, because if nothing else, there are witnesses could be witnesses who can say, "Oh, well, they were actually never alone that night.
Yeah,
I saw them. She was over there."
At least the person might have a chance at defending themselves because they have evidence that they were not with that person at the time.
Oh, I saw this person come out of a room and they looked distraught, and I wondered why. And then this other person came out later. So sooner is always better. And the other thing is, sooner means you stop somebody from continuing to do it.
Offend, yeah.
You mean, where you don't end up with a Harvey Weinstein getting, hundreds and hundreds of victims.
But here's another problem though. A lot of these incidences seem to be more along the lines of, and I'm not talking about the children now, I'm talking about like just adults. Somebody having regretted, having sex with somebody, and now they're like, oh, that was rape. That's rape, but it's not. They consented to it, and they just now regretting it, and now they're calling it rape.
It's possible, although, if you've heard Alyssa Milano, for example, tell her story, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if she's lying or not.
What is she claiming?
If it happened the way she claims it did, it was straight up forcible rape.
Is this like Weinstein or something? I don't even know.
Yeah, this is Weinstein.
Okay, more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556, or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces, even within an IRA. 800-525-9556, ICAGoldSilver.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,622, silver at $18.41, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,611. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, longtime Donald Trump ally Roger Stone was sentenced Thursday afternoon to 40 months in prison. News to Share was there and captured video of Stone entering and exiting the courthouse, as well as his supporters and protesters. A few members of the right-wing group, the Proud Boys, of which Stone is an honorary member, showed up at court to support him. Claude Taylor, a prominent anti-Trump activist, inflated a giant rat in front of the courthouse. As press awaited the recently sentenced Stone to exit the courthouse, right-wing journalist Owen Schroyer began yelling at journalists. Stone exited the courthouse and departed in a black SUV with a grin, but without making any statement. Late last year, Stone was convicted of 1 count of obstructing a proceeding, 5 counts of making false statements to Congress, and 1 count of witness tampering in the Mueller probe. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. A new study published in the prestigious medical journal, The Lancet, has calculated that a switch to a Medicare for All healthcare system would save the United States over 68,000 lives and over $450 billion each year. The report's team, headed by Dr. Allison P. Galvani of Yale University, concluded that the shift to single-payer healthcare would provide the greatest relief to lower-income households and reduce overall health spending by 13%. MidPress News reports that Improving the Prognosis of Healthcare in the USA, the title of the report, makes a number of basic calculations based on existing figures that show the difference in cost between private health care and the Medicare system in place for those age 65 or over. It finds that there are huge cost savings that can be made by switching to socialized health care. A federal judge dismissed the claims of Houston residents seeking to hold the government liable for flooding their homes with Hurricane Harvey stormwater released from 2 dams, finding there is no constitutional right to perfect flood control. Activist Post reports U.S. Court of Federal Claims Judge Lauren Smith's order on Tuesday came the same day the WeatherWise magazine published a study naming Hurricane Harvey the most extreme storm of the 2010s, responsible for $108 billion in property damage and 82 deaths. Harvey stalled over the Houston area for 4 days in August 2017, swamping neighborhoods and freeways and forcing people to evacuate in chest-deep water as first responders and Good Samaritans rescued others in boats, and Coast Guard crews threw down rope ladders from helicopters for those who had climbed onto their roofs to escape the rising water. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Allison Fry and Peter Hartman are a long-term couple. They've been trying out an open relationship that frees them to emotionally burden and exhaust other people.
We're both grown-ups. We both trust each other. It just seemed like the right time to open ourselves up to meeting other people and barraging them with our crippling emotional neediness.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still want to vent to Allison about all the anxieties I have at the office until she wishes I would just shut the up. But sometimes you just get the urge to sap the life out of a different woman for a change.
The flexible arrangement has allowed Fry and Hartman to participate in a variety of tiresome and psychologically draining one-off encounters with partners ranging from close acquaintances to total strangers.
Of course, there was a time when I couldn't imagine saddling anyone but Peter with my extensive emotional baggage and trust issues, but now that we've tried it...
The best part is, when we're back together, all we really want to do is drain the living out of each other.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Next Generation Wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Bitcoin, Divvy, fiat currencies like the dollar, in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches, because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org. That's divvyproject.org. As we continue, it's Ian here with you.
And Chris.
And nobody.
We were just talking about this kind of frightening situation for anybody that's interested in getting into a relationship these days. And not only that, but if you were interested in like becoming a scoutmaster or, you know, some sort of position that would help young people grow and learn and things like that, with these crazy allegations coming out, in some cases decades after the fact, destroying organizations like the Boy Scouts of America. They're now filing for bankruptcy and are basically saying, yep, we'll just pay out any old claims. Just come on, make a claim against us. We'll pay you.
I mean, the problem, though, is the juries are going to find you guilty whether or not there's any evidence.
That's a huge problem.
So it kind of makes sense
to pay out.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it kind of makes sense to negotiate, you know, something even if it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep, here's $10,000 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when you have rulings that are $18 million, I mean, come on.
So we were commenting on that in the last segment, but we also, for whatever reason, brought in the question of sex robots. Well, I guess the idea was because people are going to be so afraid to get into relationships with people because of, false rape allegations or whatever, that they may just move into inanimate and then eventually animate objects like a sex robot. Now, it's 2020. We're not yet to the point where a sex robot really exists. But as you pointed out, Chris, there are sex dolls, and apparently it's a growing industry.
Yes.
We have reported on certain sex doll brothels, for lack of a better term, opening up.
Yeah.
That in certain major cities.
I wasn't even thinking of that, but yeah.
Which is weird and it's. I don't get it personally, and I certainly don't get the idea of why you would want to go and share one.
Have a sex doll as opposed to an actual prostitute.
I have no idea.
Would it be some sort of disease sort of issue or?
Well, I guess that would be one thing that a sex doll could solve, but then again, if they don't clean the thing real well, then I don't know if it would solve that.
Yeah.
But going on here, so the BBC is reporting on sex dolls, and rather sex robots, saying that they may cause psychological damage. They say the technology... U.S. researchers have warned the availability of sex robots with artificial intelligence poses a growing psychological and moral threat to individuals and society. They say the technology is escaping oversight because agencies are too embarrassed to investigate it. Scientists want action to prevent unregulated use of such robots.
I mean, seriously.
Wow. Wow.
You want to see into somebody's bedroom, what they're having sex with? I mean, come on.
Up till now, jerking off has been pretty much the only unregulated activity in life. So, because
the government, they're going to get into anything.
Screw yourself.
Well, even that they'll regulate if you're in prison or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dr. Christine Hendren of Duke University told BBC News that the quote stakes were high. She said some robots are programmed to protest to create a rape scenario. Some are designed, but that's what they want.
That's a good thing. I hate to break it to people, but you don't want somebody who is into that sort of violent sexual fantasy to be doing it on a real person. You want them to be doing it on a inanimate object that is giving them the same experience, or even if it's a reduced experience.
Some
it's still
humans do this.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
From my understanding, this is a fantasy of some human beings.
So there's consensual.
Yeah, it's called primal prey and primal predator.
It's a fetish.
There are several forums on FetLife where that's their thing.
Right,
yeah,
and they've got
consensual rape, effectively.
Yeah, they've got a safe word or whatever,
Yeah.
but they've got this. Some are designed to look like children, the doctor said. One developer of these in Japan is a self-confessed pedophile who says this device is a prophylactic against him ever hurting a real child. She says, but does that normalize and give people a chance to practice these behaviors that should be treated by just stamping them out? Dr. Hendren was speaking at the annual meeting of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. A number of sex robots are advertised online. A U.S.-based firm, Real Robotics, has posted a video marketing its Harmony robot for between $8,000 and $10,000. It is a life-size doll which can blink and move its eyes and neck, and also its lips as it talks. Speaking with a Scottish accent, the mannequin says, quote, "If you play your cards right, you will have some pleasure and fun coming your way."
Wow.
Do these people really think that they're going to be able to regulate somebody's sex drive, to disappear or something like that? I mean, it just seems like the most unrealistic, attitude towards this.
It seems crazy. If this is what somebody wants, let them have it. Who cares? I mean,
especially when it's a deviation from what they would otherwise possibly do, if they
commit rape,
right? If they're actually willing to step across, across a line, you'd rather have them step across the line where nobody's actually getting hurt,
right? Or worse, become worse depending on how you look at it, become an incel and then go out and commit mass murder. Because we've seen this happen as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Where these what they call involuntarily celibate people are so angry at the status of women in the world that one of them in Toronto rented a van and barreled down a sidewalk and killed 12 people.
It's true.
As a result of that.
This is actually a good. The example I bring up frequently on this topic is when you criminalize porn, and they've done it, or legalize and then criminalize. The studies have all shown that rapes fall. When it's legal, when porn is legal, I'm talking about. So, why would this be any different? And yet, they actually have the nerve, these people, to bring up and suggest that this is somehow going to increase, the danger to society, when the evidence contradicts everything that they're saying here.
Well, it gets worse. Kathleen Richardson, who is a professor of ethics and culture of robots and AI at the De Montfort University in Leicester, wants this kind of marketing outlawed. She says, quote, "These companies are saying, you don't have a friendship? You don't have a life partner? Don't worry, we can create a robot girlfriend for you," unquote. She said further, "The relationship with a girlfriend is based on intimacy, attachment, and reciprocity. These are things that can't be replicated by machines."
She's jumping to that conclusion. That's not necessarily the case.
Today, it's true. But in 20 years, maybe it won't be true.
Okay, hold on. Sometimes people, that's all they're after is sex. It's not about the relationship, right?
Sure.
So it really depends on an individual, and just because somebody wants just the sex now does not mean that they don't necessarily want a relationship later. They're like, you don't have to have one or the other. You can have both.
Professor Richardson advises a pressure group that's been set up to monitor the emergence of these products. The Campaign Against Sex Robots, which is apparently a thing, their website, campaignagainstsexrobots.org, I bet that's a fun site, is working with policy experts to draw up legislation aimed at banning claims that companion robots can be a substitute for human relationships. She told the BBC News, quote, "Are we going to move into a future where we keep normalizing the idea of women as sex objects? These aren't women. They're robots. A person would go and acquire one of these things because they don't want to be with a woman. Now, for whatever their reasons, they don't want to be with a woman, right? Maybe they're afraid that the woman's going to claim rape. Maybe they're just anti-woman, or whatever their reasons are. They don't want to have a conversation after their sex, or they don't want to snuggle, or whatever their reasons are. That's why they're going to buy a sex robot or a sex doll or whatever you want to call them. Quote, "If someone has a problem with a relationship in their actual lives, you deal with that with other people, not by normalizing the idea that you can have a robot in your life and it can be as good as a person," she says. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like a woman who's afraid of a little competition.
It does, doesn't it?
Right? Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If you want to join us here, especially if you're somebody, and you probably don't want to admit it, but if you've actually got a sex doll, we'd love to hear from you.
Who would date a feminist if they could get a robot?
855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And I think that's where this is coming from. Nobody more coming up.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Don't miss this year's LibertyCon with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO John Mackey, Congressman Justin Amash, and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith. Attend 2 spectacular debates. Is government necessary, and does capitalism require government intervention? Network with over 70 pro-liberty organizations. This and a whole lot more. April the 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. Visit LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on LibertyCon.com. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us online. Go to freetalklive.com. Lots of features there. Archives that go all the way back to more than a decade ago. Coming up on like 15 years worth of archives almost. Over at freetalklive.com. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
And last time I checked, no one here is a robot at this point. Robots are not that good at speaking. They're not that good. The AI out there is not particularly intelligent. We've got a ways to go.
Well, having programmed AI, I can tell you, getting to artificial stupidity is hard.
Yeah, so we got a ways to go on that, but a lot of people are working very hard, and there's a lot of money that's going behind that. You, of course, are welcome to join us here. Oh, by the way, I want to say thanks to Bitcoin.com. It's a great site to go if you're new to the world of cryptocurrency. You want to learn the basics about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. You can do that over at Bitcoin.com. They've also got a great news site that will keep you informed on what's happening in the world of Bitcoin at news.bitcoin.com. And you can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash with a global trading platform that respects your privacy at local.bitcoin.com. So get started at bitcoin.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we've been talking about so-called sex robots, and I hesitate to use those terms for these things generally, but apparently there is a company out there that is, so you've got sex dolls, which have been around for a long time, but now they have more expensive sex dolls that are supposedly more realistic. But they're adding in robotics now, apparently, to these things. You can pay around $10,000 and get a sex doll that can, what does it say here? It can sort of move around a little bit, I guess. Not a whole lot, but it can lay there and move and talk. It says, I imagine, pre-programmed things. Oh, it can blink, move its eyes and neck, and its lips as it talks. So this has led this trend towards people becoming interested in these sex dolls and sex robots is disturbing to a lot of people who want to actually use legislation to try to put a stop to it. There's a busybody group out there called campaignagainst.sexrobots.org, and they describe themselves as a coalition of humanists, parents, women's groups, survivors, academics, and activists campaigning against commercial objectification of human beings who are concerned with the normalization of sex robots. And they have a petition where they want the government to get involved, and they want the government to conduct public consultations and develop legislation that would somehow put a stop to the promotion of sex robots.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a bunch of really ugly women who just can't get and hold a guy, and so and they want to own the guy.
They don't want competition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same group of women who's against legalization of prostitution, because there's a group of women out there who, like you said, they're probably not that good looking.
Yep.
That don't like the idea that there would be women professionally offering sexual services in order to create a level of competition that heretofore has been illegal. Now, obviously, some people are willing to break the law to use a prostitute's services, but if it were legal, probably more people would avail themselves of those services, and therefore they would less be interested in these harridans that want to lock them into an undesirable agreement or relationship.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the case. The wives' union also. You know, I mean, marriage isn't necessarily that good a deal for guys anymore because, you know, if and when if and when you separate, you're going to get screwed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's going to get the lion's share of the property, you know, even if she did nothing but sit around the house. You had a maid to clean the place. She didn't do anything. But she gets a huge hunk of what you were earning working 100 hours a week.
I know people who were in the exact situation where the woman just literally did nothing and no job.
She's expected to continue to be able to do nothing. That's the excuse. I didn't have to do anything.
Well, that's
while
the
I was
lifestyle
married.
to which she's become accustomed.
Right. And then they give they give the money after the breakup, and it's like,
and a kid usually too.
And this is I've even seen the woman steal tens of thousands of dollars and still be given money.
Wow.
Sure.
After the divorce the divorce proceedings.
Sure.
So no wonder they're upset about the idea that there could be not only prostitution legalized, but a flood of inanimate robotic dolls and robots, and eventually animate ones, ones that will be very persuasive, by the way. Like right now, it's like, why would anybody be interested in this? But obviously some people are. But what happens when the robots cross the line of passing the Turing test, making it so you can't discern the difference easily between a female robot and a real live human being? I mean, we see it in the movies. It's not unbelievable that it could become reality.
I mean, we've already seen it in some respects with deepfakes.
Well, but one you can interact with.
Yeah, you can't be in the same room with a deepfake.
Tis true.
Yeah.
Tis true.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We have Bobby. He's on the line on our Discord server, calling from Florida. Bobby, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Can't quite be in the room, but I do use my Google Cardboard on a good Iggy Azalea, or maybe even Taylor Swift, and a I kind of like like Jack Black, Taylor Swift and Jack Black, deepfake, very very Google Play friendly. Also, I'd like to say I can't dance around it, but I have had a robot before. It wasn't.
You've had a robot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, hold on. Hold on, Bobby. I know that we're on the radio here, and I appreciate you being cautious with how you say things. Obviously, we can't be prurient, and it's important to be radio clean. But when you say you've had a robot, you mean a doll, right? Because there really aren't robots out there, sex robots.
No,
meaningful.
I posted it in the Discord. I can't say what the name of the machine is, but if they took this machine and put it in a doll, I think it would be fantastic. It's a robotic machine, and it helps you out, and
okay, so this wasn't
amazing.
a humanoid. This wasn't a humanoid that you were involved with. This was a device for sexual pleasure, and that's all it was.
Correct.
Okay.
And you plugged it in, and it.
Yeah, well, we don't need to know what else it did after you plug it in. We can imagine what it does after you plug it in and then you plug into it. I suspect would be what goes on there. But so you're saying that you are in favor of the idea of a sex robot, Bobby. So presuming that you like this technology that already exists, I imagine you would like a further technology, a further development, refinement of this technology. How much could you see yourself spending if a better version of this thing or a more humanoid kind of robot version of this thing existed? What would you be willing to lay down for acquiring that? Do we lose him? I think his internet connection went bad. Well. I presume it would be quite a bit of money, because think about the kind of money that men will spend just whining and dining.
Yeah, it's going to be way cheaper, I would think, over a course of a long period of time if it was adequate.
Right, you go out to a bunch of dinners with a woman or whatever, right?
Yeah,
buying her things for her birthday.
I mean, what's insurance alone? Like health insurance, $10,000 a year? I mean, seriously.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. They can't accidentally get pregnant. 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want. And if you want to program it to act crazy like Johnny Depp's wife, then, you could probably have a robot that's crazy, too.
Has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms where you can join us and sound pretty great, as long as you have a semi-decent internet connection at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
Are you 100% sure you're going to have a great retirement, or maybe not? Tom Young is the author and founder of the CFO Project. He can show you how to be debt-free in 9 years or less, including your mortgage, without spending a single dollar more. With the current state of the federal debt at $23 trillion and unfunded liabilities at $127 trillion, you can't wait to take control of your money. Don't let your retirement savings be used to bail out the government. Instead of building a plan, Tom can show you how to create strategies now to save money without penalties and as little government involvement as possible. His new book, The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, will show you exactly how to build wealth and eliminate debt at the same time. You can get your free copy now at CFO-project.com. Invest in yourself and your family today. You can get your free copy of The Family Money Farm, the CFO Project, at CFO-project.com. We're going to continue here, if we get the chance. Oregon secession movement. There's a good portion of some of the folks in Eastern Oregon. They want out, and they are ready to join Idaho. And actually, apparently, some folks in Northern California want to join Idaho as well. So we'll tell you about it. But first, we go to Pope James, calling from the Vatican. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, you're on the air.
I should like to have a conversation with you about the first hour. And I should like to say that I grew up in a house like the one you had to renovate in Florida, and I can still smell my old man's lark cigarette filters, and it makes my stomach curdle and my head hurt just as much as walking into a local Kinko's.
Yeah, you're referring to the conversation we had about smokers' houses.
Secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
And I want to have a conversation about that with you,
sure,
Minister.
Here we are. Go ahead.
I guess your Pope with an invisible hand job church, thanks a lot, is out. I want to talk to him about 9/11 one of these days, once he grows a sack and stops playing with his balls and his
All
hands.
right, we're not going to talk about things like that here. It's a radio show.
You can talk about jerking off, but I can't make fun of him for it.
Well, we can't get graphic on the radio, and if you're going to do it, I'm going to have to dump the call. So if you want to go on and talk about smoking and cigarettes, that's fine. Go ahead.
You didn't speak to him in such a manner.
He wasn't graphic. You just were.
He said J.O. He actually used
That's not being graphic. That's a euphemism.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I appeal to the honesty of the audience to say that jerking off is graphic.
All right. All right. You're going to keep going? I'm just going to hit the dump button on you and just get rid of you. Goodbye. I gave him a chance. I really did. I tried to give him a chance. He said he wanted to talk about cigarettes, and then he just went off on you the whole time.
And nobody's back. I didn't hear a word of that.
Yep. So
I'm not a least bit disappointed.
We go on to David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, got a case of a cop stealing some drugs. It's kind of funny. But first of all, I think I might be able to answer your question from earlier. You were wondering about whether additional suits that Boy Scouts steal, I believe you're talking about, can come after the bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I think I think that's determined at the time the court establishes the bankruptcy, whether they're going to allow claims after the bankruptcy, set aside funds for future claims, or if they're going to ace them out of it. And they use the example I heard on whatever radio I was listening to. They use the example of the Catholic Archdiocese in Milwaukee, maybe it was, where they actually kind of they probably did this strategically to screw people. No play on words intended. But what they did is they filed the bankruptcy to, in their words, smoke out of the hills all the little boys that are now men that had been abused over the years. For those that were abused, I'm sure there were ones that were not technically abused, but they smoked them out of the hills by saying, by writing the bankruptcy such that you got to get in now, or you can never file. And then when they got them all to come in, then they used that to cut off future claims. And it was kind of even, there was another sneaky element to it. It's worth reading about if somebody wants to search those terms and read about it. It was kind of sneaky the way they did it. They ended up shafting some people, screwing some people. But the bottom line is, I think that's determined when they go into court for the bankruptcy, whether they're going to allow claims after the bankruptcy and what they're going to set aside, or how they're going to do it. I think all those terms are hammered out when they file for the bankruptcy. But
okay,
anyhow,
good to know. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
There's another fun one in New Mexico True. That's the tourism. Hashtag New Mexico True. Everybody come here and spend your money. Please don't. Another example of how they'll do you in New Mexico. And this is not a comment on whether drugs should be legal or not, but they happen to be not lawful. And so there, in the news in New Mexico, there was a cop here that just got sentenced to 7 years in prison. And I know you don't agree with somebody going to prison for dealing in drugs, but you might agree with the other side of it, because this was a law enforcement dude. And what he did is he pulled some people over and he stole their drug money. He took $8,000.
That's not cool. Stealing, not good.
Yeah.
If all the cop were doing were selling his own drugs, I would say, he should be left alone. But if he's stealing money or stealing drugs from other people, then that's not cool.
I wouldn't be crying over it if the cop was arrested and thrown in jail for selling drugs, because he's the one who's in the business of doing that. He's arresting and throwing other people in jail.
Well,
right.
Generally, that's true, but we don't know. I mean, he might have been somebody who was letting people go.
That's true.
You don't know.
This guy was I don't think he was letting people go. I don't know, but his last name is Sandoval. If anybody wants to search it, and it was in a northern county on the Colorado border. Colfax County might have been the one. The funny part of it was he stole this drug money from these drug dealers, but he got busted because the drug dealers turned out to be other cops that were undercover.
Oh yeah,
and they busted him. And another thing that this Sandoval dude had done in New Mexico, this is how they're going to do you in New Mexico, is he had agreed to take or took $10,000. Obviously they entrapped him in this, but the same undercover cops that were posing as drug dealers got this cop to take $10,000 for agreeing to safely escort them through Colfax County so they could get into the Colorado without getting busted by the cops. And so anyway, that's welcome to New Mexico.
Well, that kind of level of corruption exists everywhere. David, thanks for sharing the story tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So let's talk about secession, because it's back in the news again. Looks like the folks in Eastern Oregon are ready to go.
Let's do it.
The story here from USA Today. Frustrated by liberal policies, some Oregon residents have petitioned to leave the state by moving the border with Idaho westward. The movement secured initial approval from 2 counties and aims to get enough signatures to put the proposal on ballots in November, according to the group called Greater Idaho. Their website, greateridaho.org. If the group succeeds, voters in Southeast Oregon may see a question on whether their county should become part of Idaho by redrawing the border. Quote, rural counties have become increasingly outraged by laws coming out of the Oregon legislature that threaten our livelihoods, industries, wallets, gun rights, and our values, said Mike McCarter, one of the chief petitioners, in a news release. He said further, quote, we tried voting those legislators out, but rural Oregon is outnumbered and our voices are now ignored. This is our last resort, he says. Now, earlier, and there's more to the story, but when I mentioned this earlier, Chris, you had criticized that this isn't really secession because they're just joining another state.
Yeah.
And it is still secession from Oregon, so that is still secession from that perspective.
Yeah.
But also, the thing is, and I don't know if it's different when you want to redraw state lines, with secession, you usually have to get permission from the feds. So if you wanted to secede into a 51st state or secede into your own nation, you're going to cause conflict with the feds. Does the federal government have to approve on the redrawing of state lines? If you can, yes, this is another question that I want to have answered.
I think they do.
Well, we'll find out. We'll learn more about this. Of course, you can weigh in as well. Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll-free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. 800-667-9035. That's 800-667-9035.
Join me, George Norrie, in Indian Wells, California, May 29th to June 1st for the Contact in the Desert UFO Conference, an epic weekend of exploration into UFOs, ancient civilizations, crop circles, and so much more. Over 150 lectures, panels, workshops, and events with leading experts: Paul Hellyer, Linda Moulton Howe, Nick Pope, Emery Smith, Stephen Greer, Russell Targ, Doc Wallach, Leslie Kane, and more. Get your tickets at contactinthedesert.com. It's time to make contact. Contactinthedesert.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Even in these remaining moments, we got enough time. If you want to jump on with us, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And nobody.
You can check out more of Chris on his show, Freedom Decrypted, which airs Saturdays starting at 5-ish.
Yep.
Unless you're running late from a social meeting that we have on occasion. But you're pretty punctual with the show.
I try to be. Yeah. Sometimes it starts at 5, 10, 30 minutes occasionally.
So head over to Freedom Decrypted. It's a freedom-oriented tech show, and you can get more back episodes, video downloads, podcasts as well. All there. And Nobody, you have a website as well. What is it?
I do. Selectnobody.com.
Electnobody.com, because you're running for governor.
That's right. That's right, because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power.
And that campaign will be kicking up into a greater gear, I imagine, as the months move on, now that the pesky presidential primary is out of the way. So that's done here in New Hampshire. So now we can get into more of the local stuff. So that's going to happen. And you can follow him there, and we can, of course, take your calls and thoughts. We've been talking about Oregonians who are fed up with what's been happening in Portland. They want to get out and join Idaho in a project that is called Greater Idaho. Their website, greateridaho.org. They've already...
Make Idaho greater again.
Yeah, and it physically will be larger if this becomes successful. But already they've received initial approval from 2 counties. And now they are getting a proposal put on ballots in November where they will vote on moving the Idaho border westward and taking over, looks like most of Oregon. And when you look at the proposed map of Greater Idaho, if they get their way, it will be a massive state. Now, one of my questions about this...
And their population will increase by like 78.
Yeah, true.
One of the my questions about this is actually answered a little bit later in the USA Today story, and so apparently it will still have to go to the federal government. So why would you want to join Idaho? Why would you want to join another state when if you've just got to get federal approval? I mean, is it any more difficult to just become a 51st state? Well,
it may well be you're more likely to get federal approval to join another state than to add a 51st state or to have a territory in the middle of the continental United States. The federal government might be very, very hesitant to do this. I think they'll be very hesitant to do this as well.
It seems like the best approach to this problem of needing to get a federal approval, because the federal government, we already know, is not taking up the interests of individuals and states who want to change the boundaries, is to simply get your state, which, to basically say that we don't recognize you for within the state as being part of our state, and your laws are effectively the laws of some other state.
I say that again. Sorry.
So you can draw a line. In fact, New Hampshire already does this. Okay, there's certain laws in New Hampshire that don't apply in the southern part of the state, but they do apply in the northern part of the state.
Really?
So yeah. So effectively, the states have the power within themselves.
But they can't do anything. That's the problem here. They don't have any influence in the legislature in Oregon. That's their
right.
Complaint.
You'd have to get the state to go along with it.
That's obviously their complaint.
Yeah, and the problem is that these and the same thing happens in New York and a lot of other states that have metropolises in them, is the rural people become the slaves of the metropolis.
Yes,
so
very true.
New York builds its wall and it makes Utica pay for it. and by the same token, so these people, now that they have domination and control over people, I mean, these are Democrats. They're not going to let go of domination and control over
and that's
somebody.
also part of the problem is if they have to get approval from the Oregon State Legislature, how can they do that? If the Oregon State Legislature is the problem, but then they have to go back to the very organization that they have the problem with and beg them for permission to leave, it seems like a non-starter.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we have M50 or AR-15s.
It feels like this maybe would work in a libertarian state,
which we don't have.
Right? But if we had a libertarian state, it seems like it, or a state that was more libertarian,
then the legislature would say, "Go ahead, see you later."
Yeah, and I think maybe that's partially. And I don't know how many laws we have in New Hampshire like that, but I do know that there are some laws like that. So it seems like it would be.
Well, I'm not sure what you're even referring to when you talk about laws that are different in New Hampshire.
I just know that there's certain.
Because in New Hampshire, what there are there's no home rule. So what happens in New Hampshire is the state can pass a law that allows towns and cities to make a law. But but it's individual towns and cities that decide that. I don't think it has to do with geography.
So basically, the state legislature passes the law, and then the city council or whatever can opt into it or opt out of it.
So that's
but they
one
can't
way.
rewrite it.
That's one way to do it. But there's I don't recall exactly what which laws there are. But there's like some laws in the North Country where the rules are different, like regarding roads and things, than there are in the southern part of the state.
You're going to have to give me an example to be more specific. I've not heard of this.
I can't recall. I just remember it being something with roads and maybe stopping or something.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me an example. So later,
I don't know.
Another time. So Democrats, according to the story at USA Today, control the governor's office and state legislature. Last year, Senate Republicans left the Capitol to protest a bill on greenhouse gas emissions. Valerie Gottschalk, chief petitioner, says she hopes the proposal will gain traction, like the petition to recall the governor last summer, though proponents did not collect the 280,000 signatures needed for a recall election. Greater Idaho says it needs to collect around 2,400 signatures from Josephine County and about 3,000 from Douglas County to appear on the ballot. And that sounds doable. I mean, that's not a big burden, although I don't know what the populations of these counties are. People here, she says, would prefer Idaho's conservative governance to the progressive liberal current Oregon governance, she said in a news release. She said further, quote, "Every time I look at the Facebook group Greater Idaho, the group has gotten bigger. Of Oregon's 36 counties, only 14 in the Willamette Valley area would remain if the group had its way. Moving the border would also require approval from U.S. Congress, as well as the Idaho and Oregon legislators." So they've got their work cut out for them. There's no doubt about that. But I wish them the best. I love hearing stories about secession.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know if they're going to have a better place in Idaho, but it sounds like they would like it better because it's more right-leaning and they're flummoxed by the big cities' influence over the government in Oregon.
It sounds like there's zero
I would
chance.
say if at first you don't secede, try again.
They need state and federal.
Yeah.
So it's like
a long road.
The federal's not going to cooperate, and the state. I mean, I'm doubtful the state will either.
Josephine County has a population of 82,713, and they need 2,400 signatures from the 82,000. I mean, that sounds doable. That sounds possible.
But that's just to get it on the ballot. That doesn't mean the people are going to go along with it.
I think they would. I mean,
you think?
People are frustrated.
I would not be surprised. The hatred between the liberals and conservatives.
It's a real divide.
It's more than I've seen. At any time in my
not just
life.
liberals and conservatives, but city people and rural people.
I agree with you.
But you repeat yourself because that's a lot of that divide.
The problem is both sides want to control the other.
But they may want to control them, but they know they can't, so they'd rather leave.
But you're talking about the minority side that wants.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, the side that's leaving,
you're not gonna get out because it's
Right, that's the question. How can they persuade the liberal majority in the state legislature to let them go? Presuming they could get, let's say the Republicans in D.C. might actually approve this, right? Like, if the Republicans are in charge in D.C., and they're not, right, because the Democrats are, but let's say that they were, they have D.C.'s support. How do they persuade the other side to let them go without using violence?
Yeah. Well, just drive their tractors into the middle of Portland and park. Right in the middle of the street, clog the whole city.
Let us go.
City of Portland.
It is actually an interesting strategy. So effectively, what you would have to do is you'd have to disrupt the economy enough to make it give them an incentive to just let it go.
Well, that's what these people really need to do is stop begging. And I don't agree with violence, nobody, but I understand why people would want to go that direction. Just stop paying. Stop sending your tax money to Portland.
Yeah, and stop letting them enforce their laws. If there are laws that you don't want enforced in your area, maybe the liberals have some gun laws, and you think those are wrong.
Sanctuaries.
Get your local sheriff and your local governments organize a militia and say, we're not going to let you enforce these laws here, and we're not going to enforce them for you.
More than one thing. You're going to need to both stop paying and go to these cities and protest and disrupt their economics.
Yes. That all sounds good to me.
That's the only way you're going to make this work.
Absolutely. They've got to go further than just voting. Now, the vote's a good idea because it's symbolism.
It's a start.
If they can win this vote, they can start with that, but they need to continue by not paying the people they disagree with, and that will help. We will see you tomorrow night. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
You can be the smartest person in the room on the topic of the Constitution if you watch this free webinar. Liberty First University is online training on the principles of liberty and the origin, proper application, and defense of our founding documents and the principles they contain. You will receive an education worthy of the highest institutions of learning, as if the founders were teaching it. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free